yourself. And that is the topic of this segment right now. So Dear Dr. Karyn is a segment where we take questions in. This viewer has a self-care question. She says, I have a sustained stress related to caregiving, my family, work, volunteer-related stress. She said that she has been off track for years. She is just getting back on track now. She has vowed to say no whenever possible. So she is a caregiver, and she is at her limit. We've been talking about caring for aging parents, and I think this is a good jump-off point for all of us.
Yes, and so let's remember that if we do not take care of ourselves, we have nothing to give. And so a lot of times people feel guilty. They feel guilty for saying no. And I really challenge that toxic thinking, because if you don't take care of yourself, you will be of no good to anybody else. And kind of like a second kind of part off with that is actually something that Mair and I were talking about backstage around what happens when in the family dynamic, when all of a sudden you've got, you're caring for an aging parent, and all of a sudden you have one sibling that's kind of doing more of the job, how that affects the sibling dynamic.
And so, and I think the big thing that surprised me was that I thought that we would all react like I did. and I didn't, you know, I mean, that's stupid, because we were all very different people, my brother and sister and I, and everybody was doing their best with what they were doing and who they are. And I didn't know that in the moment. I know that now looking back, but it's so important to maybe go forward and go, you know what, that's how you cope, and that's okay. You know, it's not what I'm going to do, but like it's all right. And then to spell each other off. And I didn't realize that when I'd show up in Vancouver that they would disappear, and then I would be with my parents. I thought they didn't like me, and it was just because they needed a break.
They needed a break.
And I never figured it out until my dad died. You know, so like duh.
And so what you want to do is you want to like figure out what are the needs, and then have a conversation with all the siblings, going, what is everybody able to do? Sign up for the different roles, so that you don't have that misunderstanding. Because when she was telling me backstage, I'm like, yeah, of course, your brother and sister, they were using that time to recharge. For sure. They're giving all the time. You come in, they need, she's like, oh, right? Like all of a sudden, it's like you kind of understand it.
You went through this with your mother-in-law.
Yes, and I said to my husband repeatedly, you are so lucky that you have these two sisters who are like angels, and we are here and they're out west. And the one thing we had to keep saying to them is, are you okay? What can we do for you? And it might be like, can I send you food? Do you need a break? Can we tell someone that you need a break? Can we hire someone to come in and give you a break? And then he was dying to get out there with his mom, and it was because of that, because he wanted to share. Look, it's a journey.
Share the load.
There's a lot of meaningful things that happen, but you need to share it, and hopefully you can spend it together and love each other while you're doing it, because it's hard for everyone, but we do it in different ways.
It takes so much understanding at a point where you're feeling like your reserves are depleted. So it's difficult to take that extra moment and try and have empathy for your siblings when you're licking your own wounds. But it's really a crucial part of it, because these are the things like the weddings, the funerals, the deaths, the births. These are the make it or break it times in your life where relationships are forged or they break apart. So it makes so much sense to sort of think about it in a different way and think about the fact that everyone is on their own journey. Can't tell you how much I've learned from you guys today. Like, I have learned loads, and I know it doesn't make it any easier, Mair.
No, it will. It just says you're going to be armed.
You're going to be a little bit more prepared.
Absolutely.
More prepared.
Okay, so thank you for those questions. And I love that you feel so good about Dr. Karyn Gordon that you will ask her virtually anything.
Bring it on! Bring it on! Nothing's off the limit.
We love it. Nothing is off the table, and we hope that we can discuss all of this on the show.